Hello, I'm Leanne Grant, and I'm a PD specialist here at CodeHS. And today we're going to be talking about tracking student progress. When I talk about tracking student progress, we're looking at progress monitoring in a variety of ways. So we have some different ways that we can look at a snapshot of what the students are doing in the course, how far along they are, how much time they're spending, and so on. So getting into that, where I'm going to talk about this is progress monitoring and progress tracking in the same context. And we do this by doing a couple different things, or we can view this in a couple different ways. The first, we can look at assignments, we can look at the lesson view of progress, we can look at module view of how well they're doing on each module. We can go in and we can look at quiz scores, we can look at time tracking, and we can look at personal history, coding history as well. So I'm going to spend the majority of the time in the platform showing you today what we're actually going to be doing. So when I am in the uh, in CodeHS, sorry, I drew a blank there. And figuring out what we want to do and how to get there. There's a couple different things. So we have a new navigation, and in our new navigation, when you press on the dashboard, it goes straight to your sections. Okay, so I'm going to go down to a section that I have that is a demo section, so I can show you some things that are already done in there. So I'm in this demo section and it takes me to my roster. You can notice across the top that we do have progress and we have attendance here. So those are two different ways, and we have quiz scores. But the majority of the time we're going to spend in the left-hand side navigation. So I'm going to move myself up here. So when I want to go into progress, we can click, first of all, on our navigation. If we go down here, we're going to click on our progress app. Okay, so if I click on the progress app, I am going to see, very first of all, on the assignment level, how my students are doing. So when we're looking at assignments, the first thing we really need to pay attention to is our key here, because our assignments, our progress monitoring is done by different colors. And so the majority of the time, all students will start off at that gray. Gray meaning they have not opened it yet. It's an unopened assignment. And so already I can go through here and see some of my very beginning assignments my students haven't even opened yet, which, okay, well, maybe if there's something going on with that, okay? The next one is yellow, and yellow means it's not submitted. So yellow means that they've opened it, but they haven't completed it, gone all the way through the video, or they have not submitted the assignment yet. So then we have green, and our light green color here is meaning that the student has submitted the assignment. But if it stays in that light green, that means it's a teacher graded assignment that the teacher has to go in and actually grade or finalize. And then if it's a pink, that pink is when a student has submitted it, a teacher has reviewed it, and has possibly sent it back to the student for revisions. The magenta is when the student resubmits it after the review. And then finally, we have that teal color, and the teal means it's finalized. So it can be finalized in one of two ways. It can be finalized by the student submitting it to the teacher. So it was green to begin with. The teacher reviewed it, graded it, and it becomes finalized. Or the other option is that a student submits it and there's an auto grader attached, which many of our coding exercises have. If the auto grader is attached, then it will automatically be finalized when they submit it if they pass all the auto graders. So you can see here on the assignment level, I see my students are at various different levels. Okay. You also can configure here and see what kind of assignments that you want to show. Maybe I don't want to show challenges or free responses, and I can press done, and then it will change that view here as well. But I want to leave all types in here. Okay. So then across the top, we can go to a lesson. So we're going to a higher level overview now. So now by lesson, that was individual assignment, but now within this first module, I can see who has completed what. So I have some that need to be teacher graded, some that have started but haven't submitted. I know I've reviewed this. These are mostly all finalized. I can see that this person is a little bit behind because they haven't opened them, and the ones that they have opened, they haven't finished. You have another option here in this area over here on the left to change this to percentage. So you can see the student's actual percentage and how well or how much of the lesson they have completed for each one. Then moving on to an even higher level overview, we can see by module. So none of the students in this demo program have started any other modules, but I can see in our first module, Programming with Carol, how much the students have completed by looking at these numbers here. Okay. So that is our progress by assignment, lesson, and module. So the next one we want to go to is quiz scores. So quiz scores lives in a different area. And so when I am going down here back to our grading, under our grading, instead of progress, I'm going to go to quiz scores. And so under quiz scores, what I will actually see when it loads. Just waiting for it to load here. What you will actually see is the progress of how the students are doing on their quizzes. And again, it's going to be separated by the different section. So it's about halfway done now. Hopefully it will load. It's going. Okay. So none of the students in this particular section have quizzes completed, but this is a good way to view different things that you can see by quiz score. And so you can see, first of all, we have a heat map option, a percentage option, or a raw score. So in our heat map, you're going to have three different colors. You're going to have a red, you're going to have a yellow, and you're going to have a green. And it's going to tell you how well they're doing. So green is obviously the best, the red is not doing so well. And so then you can see percentage. So this is the number of questions and that are possible. So if I have a percent here, what they'll have is like a 50% or a 25% or 100%, whatever it is. The raw score will actually give you a number. So if this is a 4 and they got 4 out of 4 correct, this right here would say 4 or 3 or 2, whatever you want it to be. So again, this is by assignment here by the specific quiz as well. You can also look at quizzes by student here to see what they have, how they've been doing. You can look by specific assignment. You can also view now the question of the day score. So if your students are doing the question of the day, you can view those scores as well here. Okay. The last area that I wanted to show you, they live in the Academic Integrity app. So if I go to the Academic Integrity app, again, under the grading tab here, what we're going to look at is time tracking and code history. Now, you guys know that you can see code history in certain ways by going into the student's actual program, but this gives you an overview of code history here. If I was to click on code history, it's just loading a little bit slow today. What this is going to do is give me an example. I'm going to go to something that they may have completed here. But it was one of these. Not exactly sure. So anyway, what it would have here is the code history similar to what you see. It'll have that starter code. It'll list the different timestamps, and then it will have the code that they had at those specific areas. And so it's the exact same thing that you can see inside of the students, but you can change your student, you can change the assignment here, and then you can go to view that assignment in the IDE here as well. And then the other thing we have is time tracking. So on time tracking, and I'm glad this one is done so I can show you, there's a couple different things. So we can view by all modules. We can go to a specific module. That one, they haven't been done, so I don't want to do that. But we can view in a table view, in a box plot view, or we can view in a bar chart view. So I just like the table because I think it's easy to read for me. Again, we have that key here, and they're going to be the same colors as the assignments from before. But how long a student spends on an assignment will be here. And so this note that this starts as soon as a student opens up an assignment, the time starts. Now, it does stop after 30 seconds of being idle. Being idle means nothing is being typed in or the mouse is not moving. So if a student is not doing anything, if they're thinking, if they're maybe they're distracted in a different way or whatever, it will stop that time until they start again. And it is recorded in increments of every 5 seconds that they will see how well that they're doing. And so you can see that this person spent 13 seconds on this, whereas this person spent 5 minutes and 10 seconds. This one was only 1 minute and 28 seconds. This was 4 minutes. And this actually says not opened, but and then Alan spent 18 minutes. So this one might be struggling because I can see that the times are a little high, but this one I can see that the times are very low compared to the other one. What it also does is it does the average time. And so we have our average time here of how much the whole class is actually doing. And you can change by section then as well. And so if I was to scroll down here where most of them have these done, the average is 5 minutes. This person took only 20 seconds to complete it. 4, 1, 28, 5, and this one was 18. So this one and this one are kind of skewing the numbers, but I can see a couple different things from this view. This person is struggling and this person might not be completing their own work. And so that's why it lives in the academic integrity app. The time tracking does because we want to be able to see how students are doing from an overview and use it in different ways as well. The other thing I want to go back to is when I go back to that roster, I do have one more app here, and that is the attendance app before I show you the gradebook. And so in the attendance app, what this does is if I was to turn on a date, a specific date, and I wanted to see if a student was active, what this actually means is not if the person is in attendance. What this does is it tells them if they're what time they were most active and the most recent activity during that time, and then the total time that they've been active that day. And this is in real time. So if you have this open, you can see whether a student is sitting idle, and it relates to that time tracking that I just showed you. Okay. You can also look at it daily. You can look at it weekly. So if we were to go back some weeks, I'm pretty sure they haven't, this is a demo section, so nobody's been active. But the last thing I want to show you is progress monitoring in the gradebook. This again is a very high overview of what you can see of somebody, what they've completed, what needs to be reviewed, the grade that you have assigned to them, or that they received from the auto grader as well. And then maybe what is late here and say, oh, this person is late on this and this, and that is what that red flag looks like on those two here. So that is another option. And you can view as an overview, you can view it by assignment to see, yes, they have a 100% done. You can see, I'm sorry, that was by student, by assignment, the time they spent on this as well. Okay. So that is our last way that we do progress monitoring. So I want to thank you guys today for listening, and I hope you have a great day.